co-founder of US Azeris Network, Adil Bagirov. As we know, US Azeris Network has achieved considerable results within the last 5 years since its foundation.
Well, you would know since you are also a co-founder.
Correct.
So it makes sense.
So what has been achieved in the first quarter of 2012 so far?
Well, that's a tricky question, but of course, let me update everybody on the latest and greatest. We have continued our annual attempts to educate the wider public, to educate our friends in different circles. We have our members, our thousands and thousands of grassroots have sent out by now tens of thousands of letters just this year alone. And of course, over the past 5 years, we're talking about almost 300,000 or so of different letters and faxes and petitions. Also, just this year, and we're just at the very beginning of March right now, in those slightly more than 2 months, we've published approximately 29 articles in newspapers across the country. We're talking about states ranging from Texas and California to Vermont and Washington, Virginia and Georgia, North Carolina and New York, New Jersey and Massachusetts, Illinois and Florida. In addition to that, we have several proclamations from different mayors and governors of different states, and what we're very proud of are several resolutions. Specifically, we started the year with a resolution from the New York Senate, which was commemorating the Black January. Then, as the next commemorative date came in, that of the Khojaly massacre, the 20th anniversary, we have received several resolutions in that regard, including one that we're extremely proud of, which is from the governor of the state of New Jersey, from Governor Chris Christie. So this is our latest resolution. Of course, over the years we have received more resolutions. In fact, today we have approximately 9 resolutions from different states. The very first ones started to come in 2010, and that was from the state of Massachusetts. And then we continued in 2011 with several resolutions from the state of Texas on Khojaly, on the Azerbaijani genocide, on the Azerbaijani diaspora in general, Azerbaijani community, and several more resolutions from other states. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of work that was happening in the past several years, a lot of very interesting things that are happening, and all of this thanks to thousands and thousands of Azerbaijani-Americans just like you, or just like your friends, if you're a friend of one, who have been active and taking part in all those activities. So next question, please.
As we know, yesterday, March 6, 2012, US Azeris Network delegation has attended the congressional dinner. As we know, USAN has been organizing these delegations to attend congressional dinners for several years. So what is the significance of bringing the Azeri youth and members of diaspora to meet the congressmen, the senators, and what kind of incentive does it give to diaspora members, and what results can we expect?
Well, I hope the biggest incentive that they would get is to run for Congress themselves one day. Our goal is, of course, to introduce more and more of our grassroots, more and more of our members to different aspects of life in America, to make sure that they all integrate and assimilate better and quicker. And of course, we're very lucky in that regard because our diaspora in general, the Azerbaijani-Americans are coming into the country, unless they've been born in the country, as thousands upon thousands were. If they're coming in, they're mostly very well educated already. They either have advanced degrees or they're in the process of getting advanced degrees. their English language skills pretty good, and they're continuing to improve them. And in general, those are very educated and hardworking people. Now, one thing that's lacking because of the peculiarities of a Soviet system, in case they grew up in northern Azerbaijan, or peculiarities of the system in the political system in South Azerbaijan, that is in Iran, is that the political activity was never very well thought of and highly regarded, and therefore a lot of people need political education, and they need to know that they have to be politically active here in this country, in America, in order to be able to safeguard their own interests and the interests of their community at large, as well as the national interests of the United States in those countries, in those regions from which they come from and from which they have so much knowledge about. So that's why all those annual dinners that we're having are very important, and they play a huge role in bringing together all kinds of people from all different states, mostly young people, mostly Azerbaijani-American youth, and introducing them to a wide number of current and former members of Congress, past and present politicians, and hopefully inspiring them to do more, to do better for their new adopted homeland, for the United States, to run for Congress, to run for different political offices, and to interact more with them, to do internships, to work at those offices, and so on and so forth. So this is our goal, and I think we've been doing a tremendous job since several Azerbaijani Americans have been running for different offices all across the country, in Virginia, in Nevada, in New York, in California, and so on. So, yeah.
And the last question is, what is your message to the Azerbaijani American voters, which, as we know, according to unofficial statistics, we have about 400,000 Azerbaijani Americans. What is your message to them specifically in this election year?
Well, aside from a message of peace, I have many other messages, but we partnered up with the Census Bureau in 2010. We became their official partner to make sure that we account better for the Azerbaijani Americans, so we get more precise figures of how many Azerbaijani Americans are in the country. But just like you said, it's unofficially or semi-officially, it's at least 400,000 people. So the message is register to vote, and this is very easy to do. You can even do it through our website. Make sure that you have registered to vote, especially if you have changed addresses recently, if you've moved, if you've relocated from one state to another, and do vote on the day of the elections. And of course, we're a bipartisan organization, so we don't support any particular party, but we do endorse certain candidates based on the issues and the stances that they take. So stay put, and we will be updating more and more people on some of the best candidates that would best reflect the needs and wants of the Azerbaijani Americans. So that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.